man was cured of his leprosy, then Jesus said to him, see that you don't tell anyone, but go and show yourself to the priest as a testimony to me. Why did he have to go to the priest? Simply because he could be restored to his family. Think about what that night must have been like for him to go home to the family, to the community, to his wife, to his baby. What must that first hug must have felt like? Some of us have never known a hug of unconditional love. I promise you, if you are willing, you can find it out tonight. You say, Keith, why are you telling me this story? Because you know what? This is the story of my life. No, I didn't have leprosy. Although I might look like I had leprosy. I didn't have leprosy. At least not on the outside. But see, I did have leprosy on the inside. So I had a spiritual leprosy. And I'm not the only one. As I look around the room and I look at this generation, I see that we're living in a world of people that are filled with spiritual leprosy. And just like that physical leprosy that dulls the nervous system so that you can't feel pain, see the spiritual leprosy, it dulls our conscience so we can no longer determine what is right and wrong. We live in a world that calls good what is evil and evil what is good. And just as that physical leprosy erodes, decays, and destroys us, and it's disgusting on the outside and it leads to death, so does that spiritual leprosy that decays us from the inside as we live in a world of filth and wrongness, and we embrace it and we make it our own. Guys, who was cut in on our dance? Didn't you know that if you believe in Jesus Christ as your Savior, that we were meant to change the world? Or are you still dancing with the sin of spiritual leprosy? You see, because for me, most of my life, I didn't know who the real God was. I didn't really know who God was, and I certainly didn't know what the gospel is. See, most of my life, when I was growing up, I defined my life to be these three things in high school. It was how many touchdowns I could score, as if playing the ball could somehow make me a man. How many guys I could beat up, as if dominating another human being could somehow make me feel good about myself. And how many girls I could hook up with. As if somehow, because of the rejection I faced in my past, I could find my acceptance in the arms of another human being. And what did I want? I wanted to be one of the kings of the world. I went into Princeton, I saw there was something else that could define me, and it was money. And so I poured all my life and all my heart and all my soul into this game we call football. And I bled for it, I sweat for it, and every day, all I lived was for the dream of someday playing in the NFL. And you know what happened? I made it. Yeah. 5 foot nothing, 100 nothing, and I made it all the way to the NFL. And all of a sudden, in 1994, on the New York Giants, I had everything the world ever told me I wanted or needed. I had more money than I knew what to do with. I had a cool, fast car. I had, for 4 years at Princeton University, I didn't have a girlfriend. 2 weeks on the Giants, I had Miles mailing me letters. You want to get a cup of coffee? I guess I got really good looking in 2 weeks, right? No, I look the same. And guys, you know what? That's when I realized it. That no matter what the world has to offer you, like that young man was just saying, no matter what the world has to offer you, you're still going to feel like you don't belong. Now here it is, guys. Money, cars, fame. I told you I was on the Good Morning America. I was on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. I hung out in New York with Bruce Willis. My brother was there that night. And I hung out with Tom Cruise in L.A. I had everything the world ever told me I wanted or needed. And yet somehow, guys, I still felt like I was striving for this acceptance. That somehow, in my heart, everything still wasn't good enough. And I found myself standing on this mountain of worldly success and shouting at a God that I didn't know. And saying, man, is this it? This is what life is all about? Just a bigger, better deal and cars and money and homes. And man, and why do when I go to bed, why do I still feel empty? And I promise, Jesus whispered in my life that day, and he said, son, I got so much more for you. If you are willing, I can make you clean. I met a police officer. He said, do you believe in God? I said, of course I believe in God. Every time I see a pretty girl, I'm like, God, you're going to help me hook up with her, right? I mean, that's who God was to me. He was Santa Claus. And he said, if you really believe in God, your life will look different. And I started reading the Bible. I read the Gospel of John. I read this one thing Jesus said. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one can come to the Father except through me. And you know what I realized, guys? I realized that I had made it. I had the greatest lifestyle known to man. But I didn't have life. Not real life. And if I had died at that moment, I was going to go to hell. You see, my rookie year on the Giants, I went to the Super Bowl. as a spectator. You know, players, we just get tickets. I just want to see the game, okay? So I go down to Arizona, and I'm in Arizona before the game, and I go to this church, and I hear this preacher talking about this Jesus, and how he's God in the flesh, and how he loved me so desperately, and wanted to have this passionate, intimate, and unbelievable relationship with me. And that's when I started to realize who God is and what the gospel is. You see, for most of my life, and like maybe some of you here, I thought, listen up now, I thought that if my good deeds outweighed my bad deeds, that someday I would get to go to heaven. That makes sense, right? There's some cosmic scale of good and evil. And I figured, hey man, I'm not Jeffrey Dahmer, I'm not Adolf Hitler. I might not be like, Gandhi and like Mother Teresa, okay? But I'm somewhere in the middle. And if I just, at the end of my life, just do enough good deeds, I could someday earn heaven. Imagine my surprise when I read in the gospel that it says, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. What does this mean? It means, guys, that in order to earn heaven, in order for us to get to heaven, we have to be perfect. Because God will not allow any imperfection in heaven whatsoever. So if we ever make one mistake, if you've ever lied, if you've ever stolen, if you've ever disobeyed your parents, if you've ever had a bad thought about a boy or a girl, or even cursed, man, you're not in heaven. Guess what? I was out by the time I was 4 years old, all right? If perfection is what we have to live to get to heaven, then who can go? Nobody. Nobody can go to heaven. That's why Jesus had to come down here. But listen to me now, because there's another false gospel out there, and it's in the church. And it's in Christianity. And for those of you who hear the gospel presentation message 47,000 times, open up your ears for a second. Because the other day I was in Barnes & Noble, and I read the back of this book that this well-known preacher had written, and he talked about the gospel. And it's going to affect the church in America today. And this is what he said. He said, so you're telling me that this Jesus, this perfect God, came down to earth, and he offered salvation, a free gift by grace. If I believe in him, I get to go to heaven, and I don't have to go to hell. But if I don't come to him on his terms, that he's going to come and punish me for all eternity in the fire, in the torment, and in hell. What kind of a God is that? That's what this Christian wrote on his book. And I said, I'll tell you, he doesn't understand the gospel. Listen to me. Jesus didn't come to judge or torment anybody. He came to save us. But right now, from the moment we were born, we are dead people walking. Every single one of us is doomed to hell, condemned already. We're all on a crash course straight to hell. This is what the Gospel of John says. Chapter 3, verse 17 says, for God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world. The man is wrong. But to save the world through him. Jesus came to rescue us because we're all condemned. Whoever believes in Jesus is not condemned, but whoever does not believe stands condemned already because he has not believed in the name of God's one and only Son. This is the verdict. Light has come into the world.